Let's talk a little bit about Afghanistan. The president of Afghanistan, Mr. Karzai, is scheduled to come here May 12th, I think it is. Is he still welcome here?
Absolutely. And we're looking forward to his visit.
Well, what about him? I mean, we hear all these reports. I mean, the latest was that he may be on drugs. We hear him talking about he's going to join the Taliban. We hear that he's trying to blame everything on the United States and the New York Times, the corruption in his country. What's going on with this man?
Well, first of all, I think he sees himself as the embodiment of Afghan sovereignty, and so he is sensitive to public statements that he thinks are not aimed just at him, but at Afghanistan, and I would say at his family. And so I think there is a sensitivity there, but the reality is, first of all, this statement about the drugs and so on is just stupid. General McChrystal is meeting with him regularly. They have traveled together to Kandahar recently. President Karzai is playing a very constructive role in beginning to set the framework for the Kandahar campaign with the local shuras, the local tribal leaders and elders. So the working relationship with him on a day-to-day basis is still going quite well. And the truth of the matter is, I think that this is a period. There have been a lot of critical articles, and they're very sensitive. I think what we don't realize is how many of these foreign leaders read all that's in the American press.
Madam Secretary, you talked to him, last week or this week, maybe it was. Do you think he's stable?
Absolutely, Bob. You know, I have to say that some of these outlandish claims that are being made and accusations that are being hurled are really unfortunate. You know, this is a country that is under enormous pressure. This is a leader who is under enormous pressure. And I wonder sometimes how anybody can cope with the kind of relentless stress that you face after having been in some military activity or war footing for 30 years, which is what the reality is in Afghanistan.
I take your point, but even our own ambassador there, Mr. Eikenberry, said that he did not consider him a reliable partner, and was one of the reasons that originally he opposed this surge of troops we put in there.
Well, I think what you're hearing from Secretary Gates and me today is we consider him a reliable partner. We know how difficult it is sometimes for foreign leaders, not only in Afghanistan, but elsewhere in the world, to separate our free press and everything that it says and everything that it claims from what our government policy is. And it is difficult when you go in to see a leader on a regular basis, as our military and civilian representatives do in Kabul, and there's some article making some outlandish claim, and a leader often thinks, well, it wouldn't be printed if the government weren't behind it. And so we do have some explaining to do, if you will, and that's not just true in Afghanistan. We see that in many different countries around the world.